Okay, so I'm sharing my July layouts. I think I finished 15-ish. I actually did complete a few for the month of August already because I'm going to be doing the 31 days of cut files, so I'm not going to share those just because those will be coming up in videos shortly. So technically with those, probably closer to 19 layouts, wasn't as productive of a month for me, but we had quite a bit going on. So this first one, and I think all of these are, every single one of these will be posted if they're not already to YouTube. So this one was a layout that I used using Rosie Studio. So, and this was called Work of Heart, was all the ephemera and everything with it. So thought that turned out really cute. This was for Pretty Little Studio. I used the Ginger Snap collection. This wreath was all of die cut. And then I added these ephemera pieces here, this here with the hearts, and then I did ink the outside of it, which you can kind of see it a little bit, just to kind of help it stand out a little bit more from the background. But that's pretty much all the ephemera I added. I pretty much kind of just let the paper and the die cut do, or the die cut wreath do most of the work for me. So this was also Pretty Little Studio. So this was a combination of You Are My Sunshine, and I know I also used Love Is Kind in this one. And this again was for one of their challenges on their blog page, or I mean on their Facebook fan page. And so it was to scrap lift somebody. So they had, or it was a sketch. And so the sketch was that you had rays of sunshine. And then they had kind of, I think, a couple clouds here, and then your pictures were kind of down here further. So that's what I did for that. I thought that turned out really cute. This was for the Paper Snobs July Rainbow Crush challenge. I was having a hard time getting that out. I kept wanting to say June. It's July. And so it was, the color was to use red. And so I used, a lot of these were from my stash. This was a couple pieces that I purchased from Joann's, and I think it was Jolie's. And then a lot of these little ephemera pieces are from Simple Stories, and it was from like a little baseball page piece set that I bought. This paper around the side, that was an Echo Park, and I don't remember what. I think it might have been some kind of summer collection, but I don't recall. This was also another Paper Snob challenge layout, and this was for their, was it? No, I was gonna say Iron Crafter. It was for I cannot think of the name. Oh my gosh, what is my problem? I'm totally blanking out right now. Mix It Up Monday. Oh my gosh, I was really having a hard time getting that out. I just could not think of it. Mix It Up Monday. Anyways, it's put on by the Paper Snob, and so I end up using so you have to use, you know, some kind of like mixed media on your layout. I didn't use a ton on here, so this was all from a stencil and then just distressed oxide ink. And then it was just a layout of my son for his first day of school. I made these die cut letters using washi tape on cardstock, and then use a die cut to, or a die set to cut these pieces out. And then I had him write in his own handwriting his first day. And this is a combo between Simple Stories, Booksmart, and then also Echo Park's Back to School lines. So, and then this was the layout I completed using Simple Stories. This was in their warehouse box, so a lot of it was their cider and donuts line. And so I made this layout of my kids at a pumpkin farm, and again did the washi tape on the cardstock and then cut it out with a die set, and then put a lot of like little ephemera pieces here, like a lot of flat backed brads, and you know, all that's Simple Stories. And then again, this is from a layout from the same time that they went to the pumpkin farm, only of my middle son. And so I used the same Simple Stories products that I gotten in that warehouse kit. So it was a lot of cider and donuts again. Added some more flat back brads, some pumpkins, this cute little, this is a foam, or no, actually it's a chipboard sticker, so. Okay, and then this was 49 Markets Beach Vibes collection. So this all came in kind of like waves. It was a full paper full of waves. And so I just cut out the waves, just followed the pattern of the waves. And then I layered them on top of each other to give them a 3D effect, distress the edges. And then I decided I was going to do an action shot of my son jumping in the waves. So he was actually really jumping in the waves in this picture when we were on vacation in Florida. But I decided to use the paper and make it look like he was jumping in the waves, just to do something a little bit different. Popped in a couple of ephemera pieces here. This is a puffy sticker. These little bubbles are all puffy stickers, chipboard piece. These are all rub-ons back here, along with one of their laser cut pieces, some fussy cut seagulls. This is a rub-on with some pieces that I had cut from their, they had like a backing, it was like a packaging for one of the, I think it might have been for maybe the rub-ons or something, but you could fussy cut out these surfboards. So, and then this is a laser cut piece too. So I thought that turned out really cute. This again was from Beach Vibes, and so I used this paper all came as it is, and I just love how dimensional it looks. Like you really didn't have to add hardly anything to it. So pictures here, some ephemera pieces, again, like some of it's die cut, some of this is like laser from the laser cut elements, and then this is a puffy sticker there, puffy sticker. This is a chipboard piece, rub on here. This is another rub on that I just layered over it, and then I just splashed some Shimmers paint and Jenny B Blue on it, and this is a puffy sticker there too, so turned out really cute. Okay, this was a layout for Pretty Little Studios challenge on their Facebook fan page, and again it was to use stars on your layout, so that's why the stars here. And then this is a die cut piece, so I just used die cut. This is a combination between their You Are My Sunshine and Love Is Kind collections. So, and I really honestly don't remember what is from what because they work so well together. So layered up a tag back here. These are a bunch of little frames, border piece here, this little tab here, and then a few little suns with some clouds here. Of course, the title. This is a little banner piece that I fit below it, and then another little saying there, and then a bunch of little stars on there. So I thought that turned out really cute. And the paper in the background's got like little hearts on it. Okay, so this is Hip Kit Club, and I was just documenting a picture of my son getting the heck out of practice, baseball practice. He was not loving baseball season, so anyway, so we still made him, try to make him participate, but you know, the bag, it just cracks me up because it's so big. So I used a lot of like elements of like arrows pointing away because that's kind of the way we had to go to leave. So these are chipboard pieces. So these are all, this is all from different monthly kits. So I think I looked it up. It was June of 2024, September of 2024, and then either January or February of this year. I know quite a bit of those actual kits themselves are sold out. I think you might be able to still get a few like the embellishment packs or something, and maybe even the paper, but so anyway, so I thought that turned out really cute. Used a couple, these are rub-ons here, so. This is Bella Boulevard collection, the Meow collection, and this was for a Rediscover Your Stash hop, and it was to use either flare or wax seals. So I actually had these wax seals in my stash for a very long time, and they're made to look like wax seals, but they were actually stickers. And so I decided to pop quite a few of these up. I think this might have been a Shimmers flare, and then same with this one. This says I love you so much, And so I just documented my daughter with her kitty cat. And of course she's got all of her kitty cats lined up there. So I just thought this was really light and cheerful. And she loves the color pink, so. This is one of my newest layouts that I completed. So this is Color Rush Studios July kit, which is just an absolutely beautiful kit. It was gorgeous. I think so far, like this month, my favorite papers have been the Beach Vibes. I've yet to sit down to use Nature's Haven, but I'm really excited to use that. And then Color Rush. The Color Rush kit was just gorgeous. I have a feeling that once I receive my Hip Kit July kit, I think I'm gonna really like that one too. It's getting really good positive reviews. Although you can't go wrong with any Color Rush kit. I don't feel like you can really go wrong with any Hip Kit, Club Kit. I mean, 49 Market's always like on point. So not to say that any of these other papers aren't my favorite. Just it seemed like the ones I was most excited to work with were these. So, and it had taken me a little bit before I could actually sit down and work with Color Rush, because I had like a lot of other projects I was working on. So I kind of had put this off to the side and wanted to use it. So I decided to document a couple pictures of my son. This was in Mackinac, and this paper was just so pretty because it had like kind of the torn, the ripped. So I decided to follow it with the Frazzles that were included in this month's kit. Popped up some florals that were included in the ephemera. This was actually from Simple Stories, and that was from their Simple Vintage Linen line. And I just thought that went really well there. So I used that kind of as my title. The tab there, that was from the Color Rush die cut pieces. These stars and these, like the little, you can't see it off, it's off frame. These flowers with the star, the ladybug, the bee, this bee here, this heart, and all this stuff down here, minus the sequins, that was all from Simple Vintage Linen. I just felt like those meshed well together. And I don't want to use up all of my Color Rush ephemera they've got a ton of paper, so I was kind of like trying to use it sparingly. So I was trying to pull in some more pieces to just kind of bulk it up a little bit without using a bunch of the die cut pieces. So, and then of course I added the pretty sequence that was included this month, so put that in the clusters there. So, all right. And then of course I did the this interactive Minecraft layout. So this was actually for Iron Crafter. So that's put on by the Paper Snob, and the challenge was to use punches. So I used just a square punch to punch all this out. This was a cut file I had found off of Cricut. And then I ended up using the Teen Vibe Carson. So that's what I use for a lot of the embellishments and things like that. This blue paper was like just stuff in my stash. So I kind of went kind of simple with like the embellishments. So just because I didn't want to like take away from the fact that it was interactive, and I don't want to bulk it up too much. So anyway, so that's that. And I still have to do the second page because I've got a second page I'm gonna do. And then this has been my favorite layout of this month, and probably for the past several months combined. So this is Color Rush paper. I saw this paper and I immediately knew I wanted to use it with the Starlight Dreams collection. I just felt like this paper looked like it belonged in the Starlight Dreams collection. And so I knew that I had these photographs of my son that were kind of, like a lot of moon, stars kind of background. And so as soon as I saw this paper, I knew I wanted to document that. And I thought that the Starlight Dreams would coordinate very well with all this. So I end up using, these are a lot of laser cut pieces. Both of these are actually rub-ons that I put on cardstock so that I could raise them up and layer behind them. And then I've got some enamel stickers here. So there's enamel moon, some enamel stars, another enamel moon here, some more enamel stars. And then this was actually another rub-on, which is actually kind of like not super noticeable, but it adds a little bit. And I had put one up here too but ended up covering it up with this title. So the title is actually from Colorcast Designs. So the frames is Starlight Dreams. So I just thought that turned out really pretty. I love it. This was probably my favorite layout of this month. And so I appreciate you coming by to watch my layout share, and I will see you next month.